Imagine standing in the middle of the Egyptian desert 4,500 years ago. The heat is unbearable. Sun stretches endlessly in every direction. There were higher mod you were money. Open time remain. No steel cranes towering above the horizon. No computers calculating measurements. Open dome modern step for stays. And yet, rising out of the burning desert in front of you is something so enormous, so precise, and so impossible looking that even modern engineers still argue about how it was built. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a structure made from roughly 2.3 million stone blocks. You open these, some of them weighing more than sages. A monument so massive, a monument that 4,000 years remained the tallest structure on Earth. Think about that for a second. Entire civilizations rose and collapsed beneath its shadow. The Opir disappeared. Religions changed. Wars were fought. You will fist ineffable. Through all of it binds the pyramid remained. For by say, you open humanity pass by. But the deeper scientists study the Great Pyramid, the stranger the story becomes. Because this thing should not exist. Steps, at least not according to the version of history we imagine in our heads. They picture people think of ancient humans. They picture primitive societies struggling to survive day by day. The condom. People barely understanding the world around them. People limited by simple tools and short lifespans. And yet somehow those same humans built one of the greatest engineering achievements in history. It was not with machines. UI with modern technology, but with human hands, which raises a deeply uncomfortable menstave. What exactly were ancient humans capable of? Because building something like the Great Pyramid was not simply a construction project. It was a civilization-level achievement. The pyramid weighs around 6 million tons. The stone blocks had to be cut, transported across long distances, lifted into position, and aligned with astonishing precision. And the numbers become even more unbelievable when you realize how quickly it may have been completed. Many historians believe the pyramid was built in around 20 years. 20 years. 8 years. That sounds almost impossible. Engineers estimated to position one massive stone block every few minutes, every single day, for decades. It was no delays. The stun or the CISA. No supply chain failures. No modern logistics software coordinating operations. And suddenly the mystery changes. The real question is no longer, how did they stack the stones? The real question becomes, how did they organize thousands of human beings so efficiently without modern technology? Because humans are difficult to coordinate even today. Modern governments struggle to build infrastructure projects on time. Corporations collapse under mismanagement. Both cities become gridlocked over simple problems. And yet an ancient civilization somehow mobilized enormous numbers of people to create something designed to outlive generations. For a long time, people assumed the pyramids were built by slaves. Hollywood loved this version of the story. Endless lines of exhausted workers dragged through the desert under whips and chains. But modern archaeology paints a very different picture, Montmormont. Near the pyramids, scientists discovered entire worker villages for chimes. And Ming 60, the Rosen were Nadavites. Even evidence of medical treatment. The workers appear to have been skilled laborers, therefore disposable slaves. But strangely enough, they were extremely well fed, because building the impossible requires healthy people. It requires planning. It's thinking's mild. You both singlois. Knowledge passed from one generation to another. You sowed is perhaps most importantly. That may be the most difficult part for modern humans to understand. The people building the pyramid, you full likely knew they would never live long enough to truly see their civilization remembered thousands of years into the future. And yet, they still devoted their lives to it. You remember the Basminted days. Millions of modern humans struggle to focus on anything longer than a few seconds without checking their phones. Entire industries are designed to destroy our attention spans. We live surrounded by notifications, distractions, and endless noise. But ancient civilizations operated differently. They thought in generations. And maybe that mindset is exactly what allowed humans to accomplish things that still leave us confused thousands of years later. Because the more closely researchers examine the pyramid, the more unsettling its precision becomes. The Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with true north. The margin of error is incredibly small, smaller than many modern buildings. But how? There were no satellites, no GPS systems orbiting Earth, the cephalofour measurements, only the sky above them. Some scientists believe the Egyptians aligned the pyramid using stars. Others believe they tracked shadows cast by the sun. But nobody knows for certain. And that uncertainty is what makes the pyramid so fascinating. Not because we believe aliens built it, but because modern humans are uncomfortable admitting something strange. Ancient people may have understood far more than we assume. The mystery becomes even deeper once you start looking at the internal structure. The Sigma narrow passageways, the hidden chambers, massive granite blocks positioned with astonishing accuracy. Even transport of these stones seems almost absurd, certain as granite blocks came from quarries hundreds of kilometers away. Imagine moving objects weighing dozens of tons across the ancient world without trucks, cranes, or modern roads. How do you even begin? The most accepted theory involves giant ramps. Huge ramps made from mud brick, limestone, and sand. Workers would drag the stones upward gradually. Utensil of the another way. Spade. To construct ramps large enough for the pyramid, ancient Egyptians may have needed nearly as much material as the pyramid itself around the structure. Other researchers suggest spiral ramps wrapping around the structure. Others believe internal ramps may have existed inside the pyramid during construction. And then there's best in some stranger discovery. Modern experiments revealed that wetting sand in front of a sled can dramatically reduce friction. In other words, ancient workers may have discovered a simple physics trick thousands of years before modern science formally explained it. The deeper you go into ancient Egypt, the more you realize something unsettling. You open a sense way. They were operating with a completely different relationship to time, labor, and human cooperation. And perhaps that is the true reason the pyramids fascinate us so deeply. Because they force modern civilization to confront its own arrogance. We assume history is a straight line, that humans constantly become smarter, more advanced, more capable. But standing before the Great Pyramid creates a strange feeling, the not monks or fries. Because modern humans often look at the pyramid and think ancient people shouldn't have been able to do this, and yet they did. You sills superhumans, not extraterrestrials descending from the sky. Ordinary Uvain days. People who laughed around fires. You people who and stecks and denways. People who stared up at the same stars we see today. And somehow, together, they built something that has survived for over 4 millennia. That realization changes the way you see humanity. You were tied the oars and were mobied in naftays. Maybe true human greatness comes from something far rarer. You were mois. You long-term thinking action. Were you more kind steps. The willingness to sacrifice comfort today to create something that might outlive you tomorrow. Maybe that is what feels so alien to us now. Not the pyramid itself, but the mindset required to build it. Because modern civilization can create astonishing things. We can launch rockets into space. We can communicate instantly across continents, where the symbol form stays common day. You oats feel more distracted, divided, anxious, and disconnected than ever before. The ancient Egyptians built monuments designed to survive eternity. Modern society and you struggles to focus beyond this notification. And maybe that is why the Great Pyramid still haunts the human imagination. Because it hides supernatural secrets, but because it reminds us of something we may have lost. The ability for thousands of people to move together with absolute unity toward a single purpose. A civilization confident enough to think beyond its own lifetime. A world where humans still believed they were building something eternal. So perhaps the greatest mystery of the pyramids is not how they were built. Maybe the real mystery is whether modern humanity is still capable of creating anything that will truly outlive us.